Hey, sis. Hey. Welcome back to the podcast. It's a new show. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's so important when stepping into any new relationship, whether it's a personal relationship or a friendship. Setting healthy boundaries. Now, I know the word boundaries can sound a little serious or even intimidating, but trust you me, boundaries are actually one of the best ways to show love and respect for yourself and for the relationship you want to build. So, grab a cozy seat and let's chat like sisters about how you can set boundaries that protect your peace, honor your growth, and prepare you for a partnership that feels balanced and beautiful. All right, let's start with the basics. What are boundaries? And why are they so important? Boundaries are those guidelines or limits that define what's okay and what's not okay for you. Boundaries are basically the guidelines for how you feel, what you will accept, and what you won't accept. They tell other people how you want to be treated, how you handle your time and energy, and what you are willing to accept in your life. So let's break the myth that setting boundaries isn't about being selfish or shutting people out. It's about creating a healthy space where you feel safe, valued, and respected. So when you're going into a new relationship, boundaries are everything. I'm going to say that again. When you're going into a new relationship, boundaries are everything. They help set the tone for how you expect to be treated and how you'll treat the other person. Think of boundaries as like the framework for a house. Without it, things can and will get messy. And it all becomes hard to feel secure and stable. And if you've ever been in a relationship where your boundaries were ignored or you even struggled to set them in the first place, I'm sure it felt uncomfortable at first to establish anything. But I promise you, it's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. So, one of the first boundaries you need to think about is your emotional boundary. Emotional boundaries can protect your heart, your energy, and your mental health. When you're in a new relationship, it's tempting to share everything right away and dive in deep emotionally. But giving yourself time to build a bond gradually can help you protect yourself from getting hurt if things just don't work out. It also helps you see if this person is really aligned with your values and your vision for your life. You have to remember, you're not rushing into a race. You're slowly building something meaningful. And that takes time. Then you have your physical boundaries. Physical boundaries are simply about your personal space and intimacy. They are so important because they help you maintain control over your body and your comfort level. This could simply be something simple as deciding when you feel comfortable holding hands, kissing, or spending extended time together. Don't let no one rush you into doing something that you're not comfortable doing. And if you feel like you cannot set this boundary with that person, you need to reevaluate how you have them in your life. They may not be your person, and that's okay. Physical boundaries and setting them is about moving at a pace that feels good for you and letting that other person know what you need because they're not a mind reader. A respectful partner will understand and honor these boundaries, and they won't pressure you to rush into anything you're not ready for. I'm going to say that again. A respectful partner will understand and honor these boundaries, and they won't pressure you to rush into anything you're not ready for. Don't let that go over your head. Now, let's talk time boundaries, because this is something that people often overlook, but it's critical. In new situations and new relationships, it's easy to want to spend all your time with that person, but it's so important to keep some balance. For me, I take the time through the week to work, and on the weekend is when I see my person, and that worked for us because we both work during the week and we're both off on the weekend, which I had to set a boundary with my customers and say, okay, you guys have to catch me Monday through Friday between this time, because the weekend is for myself, and they have to respect it. They just have to. Set boundaries around your personal time for your work, for your hobbies. Also, make time for your friends. Don't be so caught up in a relationship that you lose your whole identity of who you were before you met them and neglect your friends. It's been real easy to balance my relationship and my friendships nowadays because I literally open my mouth to my partner and I say, hey, I'm going to go check on my friends on this day. And they're like, okay. So, yeah, a partner that respects you does not mind you having that boundary in place. The time boundary is about honoring your independence and making sure, again, you're not losing yourself in a relationship. Healthy relationships are built by two whole individuals. And by protecting your time, you're able to bring a fuller, happier version of yourself into the relationship. Another big boundary that people, they touch on it, but they don't really talk about it in like full, is communication. A communication boundary. Communication is the backbone of any relationship, but everybody communicates differently. Some people like to text all day, while other people might prefer a phone call at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day or some point during the middle of the day, as long as you're communicating. Decide what feels best for you and your partner or your friendships. For me, most of my friends are super busy during the week, so we're probably texting majority of the day. Some of them call me at nighttime when they get off of work. If my phone is on Do Not Disturb, I love the fact that my friends respect my focus features and they don't try to go over my boundary. For my partner and I, communication was simply us speaking to each other, doing a check-in, in the week. It wasn't a texting everyday thing. It wasn't a talking on the phone everyday thing. We check in with each other during the week. Hey, I've been thinking about you. Hey, let me know what your schedule looks like this weekend. I can't wait to spend time with you. This was mostly them texting me, and I love that for me. But yeah, now the communication is still pretty much the same now, which works for me because I healed my nervous system. So I'm not always on edge wondering, what they're doing. So that just works for me. But for you, you figure out Do you need daily check-ins, or do you like having space between interactions where you guys necessarily don't talk? Figure that out for yourself. And it's okay to express your needs clearly and ask the other person about their preferences too. Healthy communication boundaries ensure you're both on the same page, and it helps prevent misunderstandings from happening. And another thing I'm going to speak on with healthy communication boundaries, whenever they do something that doesn't sit well with you, speak on it then. Don't hold on to it. Sleep on it, because we should never go to sleep angry or upset with each other. Speak on it then. And if it continues to be a pattern that you see, be okay with walking away with somebody disrespecting your boundaries. That means that person doesn't respect you. And here's another very good, important boundary that nobody talks about. Your value boundaries. What are your principles and your beliefs around the word relationship? Let's say your values include something like honesty, loyalty, respect, or even a lifestyle choice. Make sure that as you get to know your person or the person in front of you, you're observing whether they align with those values. It's okay to have a negotiable and non-negotiable list. It's okay to have deal breakers. That means you know what you want, you know what you're looking for, and you're not wasting time settling for anything that does not look like what you know you want for your future life. Setting boundaries around your values simply mean you won't compromise on those things that truly matter to you. And it ensures that you're building a relationship on a solid foundation. And I want to note one last boundary. And I mean, I really want to stress it. A social boundary. Social boundaries help you keep a sense of individuality, even when you're in a relationship. This could mean how much you want to share about your relationship on social media, or establishing boundaries about spending time with friends and family separately. Again, I do make sure that I spend at least a day during the week with my friends. I take my computer and everything with me, and I go to them and I work. We watch TV, we catch up, and a respectful partner would not have a problem with that. And they do the same thing. The days that I go and spend with my friends, they go and spend with theirs. And at the end of the day, we come back together and we have quality time with each other. Maintaining your social boundaries is all about keeping connections outside of a relationship so that, once again, you don't lose that part of your identity. A healthy partnership will want you to have those other connections, and they won't feel threatened by them. Now, let's be real. Setting boundaries can sometimes feel scary. We might worry that the other person will feel rejected, or that they won't want to stick around if we start drawing lines. But sis, the right person will respect your boundaries and understand that they're part of a healthy, loving relationship. Setting boundaries isn't pushing people away. It's inviting people in, but in a way that honors both you and the relationship. So here's how you start to do that. Begin by getting clear on your needs and non-negotiables. Sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need to feel respected and safe in a relationship? What are my absolute deal breakers? What are things that I'm willing to compromise on? And what are things that are so sacred to me that I will not compromise on? And once you know what your boundaries are, practice communicating them with kindness and confidence. You don't have to be so defensive or over apologetic. Just express your needs calmly and clearly. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about blaming or accusing the other person. It's about self-care and creating a relationship that works for both of you. And when you're setting those boundaries, keep in mind that they might shift as the relationship grows. Boundaries are meant to be flexible. As you build trust with someone, you might find that certain boundaries can loosen because their relationship feels safe and secure. But as things grow, be true to yourself. If a boundary is crossed and you feel uncomfortable, again, I'm going to say, don't ignore it. Speak up and reestablish your limits if it's necessary. And if that person is for you, they're going to fix it. Here is something that I think that is just so empowering. When you set and honor your boundaries, you're actually teaching the other person how to respect you. Because again, they don't know you. You're new to them. And when you set and honor your boundaries, you're showing them that you value yourself and that you expect to be treated with care. And let me tell you, that kind of self-respect is magnetic. The right partner will not only respect your boundaries, but will be drawn to you because of them. They'll see that and know your worth. And they will rise to meet that standard. So, to wrap things up, I want you to remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-love. It's a way of saying, I am worthy of respect, kindness, and a relationship that feels safe. Boundaries allow you to protect your peace, hold on to your identity, and create a safe space for a love that truly honors both you and your partner. So go into this new relationship with confidence, communicate your needs, and trust that the right person, might I say it again, the right person will embrace you for exactly who you are, including all the beautiful boundaries you set for yourself. Thanks for hanging out with me today, sis. I hope this conversation has given you some inspiration and tools to set boundaries that make you feel strong and ready for a healthy relationship. Remember, you are worthy of love that respects and celebrates your whole self. Until next time, keep honoring your heart, stay true to you, and know that I'm cheering you on every step of the way. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it.